We are back. Welcome to Sharko's Tactical Podcast, episode 50. We are here with our good friend, Jeffrey Young, Esquire, the Minnesota gun lawyer. I have Omar Essen.
Hello.
Luke the Glue Andrews.
What up?
And the amazing Dean Carroll.
What's going on, guys?
Dean, we had like the same shirt on.
We do. Exact same shirt. I got different
colors.
No, I've got the new one. You have the older one.
I gave you one of these.
Yeah.
You didn't want to be the same.
I don't know.
No.
I didn't have this on when I got here. When I was unloading the truck, my shirt just got dirty because I didn't realize the boxes were dirty. I carried them against me, and I looked down. It's like, oh my God, it's podcast night.
Do you like the new fishing shirts?
Yeah, I love them. I love shirts like this.
Yeah, so the shirt that Dean and I have on, you get those from being part of the Shark Club. The Shark Club is a subscription-based service that we do, and it's kind of like, you know, like the old school grunt style, send a t-shirt, but you get usually some type of shirt, a magazine, and a custom patch every month. And Dean is actually in charge of doing it. And this is the month of September, and you have August.
Yeah.
I wanted to get one of those really nice, fancy, you know, like the fishing, not the new shooting shirts that the Seidels wear.
Oh, yeah.
They're like fucking $75.
They're nice.
Do you guys know that? Those shirts that the Seidels wear are like $75, and I wanted one, and I'm like, oh shit. So I was just like, I'll make a fishing shirt. That's what we did.
Especially if
But these are good.
Subscription service.
So if you're watching this by now, when it debuts on Tuesday, we will have entered the tax-free 2A holiday that is encompassed in Florida for the next 3 months. So if you're watching this on Tuesday, which I hope you are, starting yesterday, which was, I think, the 8th of September, the tax-free 2A holiday started that was directed by Governor DeSantis. We didn't really talk about it at all during the summer, during the whole year, because it fucked up our sales. Initially, what happened, Governor DeSantis announced it in January, and then everybody was like, well, I'm just not going to buy anything until May. And it probably hurt our business by about 20%. And then in May, lo and behold, it didn't get passed. And they finally came to grips with it in July. And then it was announced during the middle of July that the tax-free holiday was going to start on September 8th and go until 12/31. So we didn't talk about it at all because summer is tough enough in the gun industry. We thought that adding something to it would just pound me into submission. And so we didn't talk about it. But now it's live. So there is no tax on any firearms, ammo, accessories. The only sales tax you will pay for the next 3 months is on t-shirts and hats, which we usually give you for free anyway.
Sounds like a good time.
There's so much lost revenue in fucking t-shirts.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to be busy because
Advertisement. You're basically paying them to advertise for your shop for free. You're giving them a free t-shirt with your information on it. They're basically advertising your shop.
I mean, yeah, but then that would like negate the whole t-shirt industry. Every t-shirt is basically just advertising.
It is. Well, that's what I'm saying. It is.
But everybody pays for t-shirts.
T-shirt money and put it into radio ads or Facebook ads or whatever. Now you're putting on t-shirts. You
can't buy Facebook ads. That's a gun shop.
You got walking. Well, there you go then. So now you got walking billboards.
Yeah, you can't buy anything. But so I wanted to bring Jeff in to talk about FRT triggers and Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, that act that happened in Florida. But before that, there's a couple things we have to get to. Omar, you took out the new Shield X.
Oh, yeah.
What did you think of it?
It's a shield. It's got a bigger grip, slightly longer.
That's what she said.
What are your real thoughts?
It was the most unremarkable video I've done. It's literally just a shield with a slightly longer grip. Like, it's a good gun. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not shit-talking the Shield X. It's just like...
No, I mean, please.
Go
ahead.
I said it in the video. They changed the stippling. They made the grip slightly longer, and they added a little rail to it. That's it. The Shield has been a good gun. Still is a good gun. A little modernized now. It would have done big numbers if it came out in like 2009. I feel like it would have been really revolutionary for the time, but it's just...
Wait, are you telling a joke?
I think...
What do you mean 2009? Isn't that before anything came out?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just Smith & Wesson catching up to the current firearms market. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not a remarkable, like, game-changing thing. Like, when they first showed the picture of it, and I started getting messages from people who follow me, like, "Hey, have you gotten your hands on the Shield X? Hey, do you guys have the Shield X yet?" I thought it was going to be like a macro type situation.
Me too.
Where they figured out how to fit.
Dean, did anybody ask you about it?
No. I didn't even hear about the gun until we talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, my buddy like stalked me for weeks on it.
For a Shield X?
Yeah, he was like, "When's it coming?" I'm like, dude, are you really fucking bugging me about a Smith & Wesson?
When I thought it was going to be like, if that held 17 rounds, it would have been actually something to talk about because now it's a macro competitor. But
it just holds 15.
It holds 13 flush fitting, 15 with the little extension. It's their 48. They made a 48.
Is there anything redeeming about it?
If you like shields and your hands don't fit on them, or you want to put a light on them, it's easier to do that now.
So maybe they just relaunched the Shield to add a light rail to it. Like, what the fuck? Why is it? It's 2025, right?
Yeah.
And they're just now putting a light rail on a gun?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if it came out a while ago, it would have been like revolutionary, but it's just them catching up to the industry, doing what everybody else is doing. It's kind of like smartphones, right? During that little period where every smartphone that came out was, infinitely better than the last, and there were funky ones and ones in different shapes and sizes. Eventually, everybody figured out what everybody likes, and then everybody just makes the same fucking phone now.
You're still anti-iPhone, right?
I am very anti-Apple in general. Yeah.
And you too, Dean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are computer nerds anti-iPhone?
We like to be able to do stuff.
Yeah, I don't need all that lockdown on the phone.
iOS restricts you to make it easier to use. A person who doesn't care about doing everything the phone is capable of has a better time using an iPhone because it's simpler.
What things do you do on your Galaxy? Is that what it is?
I have a Google. I have a Pixel.
What things do you do on your Google that people
For
normally
certain apps, if you buy,
Tell me an instance.
My example is on your iPhone, you can only download things that are on the App Store. I can just download any file on the internet and run it. So there's nothing it's like a computer. I can download any file, APK file, and I can just run it, and it just,
So it's more like a computer.
it's more like a computer.
you don't need all the permissions.
It's more like a PCC then, but it's in the size of a phone.
Yeah, it's like a little pistol caliber carbine. It's great.
Nobody is more stubborn than an Android owner who won't switch to an iPhone.
Or the other way around.
Why are you iPhone or Android?
No, I fucking hate Androids. They're stupid. They don't work. I can't send them a file that's more than 5 seconds long, and it says it can't handle the capacity. If I do a group text with all my 5 friends that have Androids and the one friend who doesn't, or who has iPhones and the one friend who doesn't have has an Android, it won't go through. Like, all the other text goes through. The Android one comes back with a red fucking line on it that says it can't go through. They're going to claim that it's Apple's system that does that, but it's the fucking Android
system. You guys are literally coming over to RCS.
You won't do the SIMS transfer and everything else like that. So, no, I don't.
But Apple's breaking down. They're coming over to RCS texting.
I like the Android.
So you guys can work with us now.
So the Shield wasn't that big of a deal.
It's like you're saying the Shield is the Android of guns.
No.
Is what you're saying. All right, I get it.
It's the iPhone of guns?
I get it.
Nope.
The Glock is the iPhone of guns. The Shield is the Android.
The Shield.
I get it. I get it.
The Shield X is just.
You're whelmed. You're not overwhelmed. You're not underwhelmed.
Sure.
You're whelmed.
Yeah, it's the logical next step that they will come out with eventually, whether it was today or next year. It's just a micro compact that holds more than 10 rounds, that has a full-sized ish grip, I guess a compact grip. It's a thinner Glock 19. It's what everybody's making nowadays and what kind of everybody's figured out. SIG did some fucking sorcery and was able to fit 17 in it. This one holds 13, so.
It's sorcery.
But this one doesn't shoot when you look at it wrong, though, right? I didn't say that.
Yeah, they're watching, Jeff. They get mad.
For legal disclaimers. It's a joke.
They get mad.
It's a joke.
So, and then you also I'm really jealous that you got the chance to test out the Tiger and the other 22 suppressors, because I didn't get the chance to shoot that.
You own it. You can shoot it anytime you want.
He said he didn't get a chance to, though. He didn't say he can't. He said
Fair
he didn't
enough.
have a chance.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't. They just came in. Like, they just came in. They got here Friday, and then I left on Saturday.
Oh, and I just stole one and took it out.
No, I directed Eric and you to go take one out, and I was like, test them against each. What did you think of it?
I love that thing. I think it's awesome.
What do you think compared to the mask and compared to the Hux Flow 22 tie?
Best thing I can say is it's like if.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. People get mad when we say tie. And then the reps say tie.
Well, okay.
What the fuck is what's the deal?
HuxWorks says tie.
Okay.
So it's the Flow 9K tie. That is what the manufacturer calls it.
And they call it the 762 tie as well, right? It's all tie.
Yeah, because their thing is it stands for titanium. It's not titanium. But every other company says TI. No. Every other company says TI, and in almost every other application where that, like in graphics cards, it's a 3080 Ti. It's not a 3080 Ti. So in the videos, whenever I'm talking about HuxWorks stuff, I say Ti, and then I try to, when I'm talking about anything else, say Ti. But when I've got 9 cans in front of me and 3 are HuxWorks, 3 are BNT, and they all have Ti at the end, sometimes I'll mix it up and I'll say this is the BNT verse 36 Ti instead of Ti. And then people get mad. It's like, just say TI. Why are you saying TI? Like it's.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's like when somebody says clip and you go magazine.
Yeah.
Just like
that actually makes sense.
Just a
that is an actual like
gut
technical
reaction.
That is an actual technical difference. This is just a different way of pronouncing it. I try to pronounce HuxWorks cans TI because that's how HuxWorks chooses to pronounce it, and everything else is TI. Sometimes I mess up and people get so mad.
Oh, that's fucking kind of gay, dude.
People get so mad. They're like, this is such a stupid mistake. Like, what mistake? It's not titanium. It's Ti.
Right, it's titanium. It's short for titanium, right?
Exactly.
HuxWorks versus the Tiger.
I like the Tiger. I like the Tiger a lot. The Tiger is like it's like if a mask was like a quarter of the weight. I mean,
If a mask was a quarter of the weight and flow through.
Sure. Yeah, you care a lot more about the flow through thing than I do. When it comes to 22 cans specifically, let me say. At the end of the day, I said it in the video too, I'll say it again, it does not fucking matter which 22 can you buy. They all perform amazingly. There's no 22 can that does bad. From your shooter's ear, you probably won't be able to tell the difference between all of them. I just like the BNT because...
I had a guy bring back a SIG can one time.
Really?
Yeah.
SRD 22?
SRD 22. We had, remember the flying Walindas? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the one of the Walinda flyer guys bought one and he's pretty bummed out because it was not quiet.
6 hour when it counts.
6 hours.
But yeah, all cans, all 22 cans that we sell here in the shop, all perform amazingly. The difference between them is just, you're nitpicking at that point. You can go and buy the $190 one and it's probably going to perform 99% similar to the one that's $450. But if I had to pick one, the BNT one, they made it fatter instead of longer, which I like a lot because I like fatter cans.
You like girth?
I like girth when it comes to my cans.
You like them big and wide? I like it.
Yeah. It's stupid quiet. There's not much gas back in the face. It's stupid light. Not much else you can ask for, and the price point is good. I personally have a dead air mask and a Q Erector 9. Q Erector 22. I bought the mask for my 22 rifle and then the Erector for my 22 pistol because I wanted a lighter 22 can for my pistol, so it's not super front heavy because the mask weighs more than the fucking pistol does. But if I were to make that choice today, I'd buy the BNT.
You buy the Tiger.
Yeah, and then just put it on both of them. I
haven't got to play with it yet, but I think if it's everything you say it is, it's going to be a really big deal.
Like I said, I just think it's the best, but like by a 1% margin. It's not. 22 cans are not something where you can get like huge performance gains by upgrading. Like I said, BNT Tiger 22 Ti, my favorite 22 can. I'm not going to upgrade over my 2 existing 22 cans to get it.
What about the switchback though? We haven't played with that yet.
I guess so. Yeah, out of the ones that I've played with, let's say, Tiger 22 is my favorite.
Did you notice any difference, Eric?
He's shaking his head no.
I speak
for the audience that can't see them.
I think we need to get Eric a fucking microphone.
The audience that can't see him, he's doing this.
We should get an Eric cam where we can just pan over to him.
Fuck yeah, that's a great idea.
Streamers have like a dog cam sometimes or like a cat cam where they can just switch over to see what their dog is doing. We could have like a Banshee cam and then we can have an Eric cam. You just cut over to them.
Yeah, Banshee's sleeping.
Yeah, I know. It would be amazing to just cut over to Banshee every once in a while. I get to see a reflection through the gun case.
I disagree that there's only a little bit of difference. But I did like flow through is way more important. It's really important with me on 22 cans. I think that you should be shooting flow through cans if at all possible. You should not be ingesting that gas. Sure. I mean, except maybe if you're really going to get into combat, if you're really worried about getting your signature, and the titanium sparking, then you're at a distinct disadvantage. But if you're not doing that, I think that you, by all means, you shouldn't be taking that gas in. It's really bad for you.
Generally agree with you. I would not be taking a 22 into combat.
No, but but you're shooting it and you're still getting gas in. But still, titanium cans, 5.56 cans, they all spark. And that's not good for your signature.
What's the benefit of titanium in the can?
It makes it way lighter.
Way lighter.
Oh, just a weight thing.
Yeah, titanium cans are, well, there's a couple other properties as well. They heat up faster, but they cool down faster compared to steel. So like my Thunder Chicken, my Q cans, I'll always shoot them last if I'm like at an indoor range and I have to wait for my cans to cool down before casing them up. I'll shoot them last because they'll cool down the fastest. So I'll shoot my steel can first. And then, but that's a minor thing. Mainly, it just goes into you still get a durable can that's extremely, extremely lightweight. Downside being every time you shoot, little titanium sparks come out. So for like nighttime shooting and stuff, it gets a little sparky.
They can see you. And then finally, I want to know, what is the great ACOG controversy?
I don't think there's ever been
it's not a controversy, but why all of a sudden are people shooting ACOGs?
And people have been shooting ACOGs since 2001, I believe.
Oh, I don't know about that.
ACOGs are
You
the
can afford
perfect
one.
ACOGs are the perfect rifle optic in literally every single field except for eye relief.
But
and
so
maybe
you,
magnification.
so you disagree that ACOGs have seen a renaissance lately in the past 6 months?
In the past 6 months, no. In the past couple of years, because of a lot of people talking about them, yeah, ACOGs I'd say have seen a renaissance. But I don't think it's a past 6 months thing. It's been generally going on for a little bit ever since T-Rex basically started repping.
It's still to the point. So you think it's T-Rex?
No, not just them. A lot of people, because you got to think about it. The LPVO craze happened, and LPVOs were super. Everybody wants an LPVO. It's the greatest thing ever made. Then people started getting their hands on them, and they started seeing the downsides of LPVOs. People kind of started learning the hard way that there's no free lunch. There isn't a perfect, this is the best for everything. You take and you give. LPVOs are very clear, and you have variable magnification, obviously, but they're extremely heavy. They are more fragile than other optics, more moving parts, and the whole having to focus it and whatnot is not ideal. So LPVOs excel in certain fields. They suck in certain fields. People generally thought that they would just be the perfect, this is the best for everything. And as people kind of start coming to that realization, they start to realize maybe I prefer some other things like weight, like field of view, like clarity without having to focus it and all that. And that's where ACOGs shine. They are way lighter than almost any LPVO out there. The field of view is extremely larger than most LPVOs out there. The sight picture is super clear. You don't have to adjust a diopter or anything. It's a prism, so it's always there. The reticle will never turn off. You can either get the forever tritium ones or even the battery ones. When it dies, it's etched into the reticle. The only major downsides are, it's a fixed power, which I don't see as a downside. I have a RMR on top of mine. But it goes up to 4, or if you're weird, you get the non-4 ones. There's like the 3.5 and whatnot, but eye relief is the killer.
No one's using them. You don't see them being used in the field, though.
Really?
Yeah, like you don't. I don't see any footage of people using them lately, like unless it's like old Syrians or Syrians with captured guns. But if you see like everybody's using LPVOs with, acros on top or aimpoint T2 on top.
Sure.
But like you don't see like the only people who have ACOGs in the field are captured American guns.
The best way I can describe it is the reason there has been a renaissance in ACOGs is people got their hands on LPVOs, which are, I'd say objectively the best for like magnification, obviously. And they started realizing that there are several downsides to it, such as the diopter, the weight, the all the things I said already. And then they started to look back at the ACOG and realize there's pretty much only one downside with this thing, which is my nose has to be touching my charging handle to be able to see through it. But everything else is just much easier and better. It's as durable as a rock. You'll probably never break it. It's super light for a magnified optic. Generally very compact form factor. And people start to realize, I'm okay with the one downside of having really short eye relief for all of those positives. And weight on a gun is very important, obviously, and I think weight is the biggest playing factor. I'm sure a lot of people out there had a gun with a red dot. They decide I'm going to put an LPVO on it, and then realize they added 50% weight to the gun.
What do you think, Luke? Do you notice there being like a renaissance in ACOGs?
Yeah, I think, definitely. I feel like I see them more. I was wondering for Omar, what do you think about Magnifier red dot combo?
Magnifier red dot combo.
How does that stack up to?
In my opinion, magnified red dots are the worst possible magnified optic. It's
Really?
Like the Android of magnified optics.
Oh god,
I get it.
It's like the PCC and USPSA. Not as bad.
those are really good when you're primarily just still wanting a red dot. You don't want to have a primary like magnified optic, but you want to have the option. But you are sacrificing everything. Like a magnified red dot is going to be worse in really shitty field of view, really shitty eye relief, like worse than basically any other alternative for a dedicated magnified optic. But that's the point. It's not a dedicated magnified optic. Your red dot is still your primary, and you just have the option if you need it. Yeah, it's just right there. So as far as if you're comparing them to LPVOs and prisms, magnified red dots are the worst, but that's not what they're for. They're for my dot is my primary, and if I want it, it's there as an option. But you can't. I don't think you can.
I think the eye really feels the same as ACOG.
The eye,
both kinda-
if you use the ACOG for the 240, like the one that's right there, it's the eye relief is better.
Yeah, the 3.5 times the civilian models.
Yeah.
Those are really nice. The problem that this is not a problem at all. The thing about ACOGs that people are considering is that top mounting a red dot onto an ACOG is very nice because a lot of people are shooting, putting their red dots up high nowadays, anyways. So you still get that heads up shooting position with your red dot. But if you need to go down to magnified, your magnified optic isn't floating and you're getting a full chin weld, a full cheek weld instead of a chin weld. So for me personally, I like my red dots a little high. I like 193 to 226 height. But for magnified optics, I want that thing to be low because I want to have as much meat on the gun as possible. I want to be as stable as possible. So it just kind of works out perfectly where when you're shooting magnified, you're down on the gun, you're focused, you're stable, and then if you need to shoot it with a red dot, you kind of put it to that, unity Hydra mount position that you're already used to.
Why not just have an Elcan?
Because they're $3,000 fucking dollars.
Okay, so Elcans are better than ACOGs? I'm just talking about with the kids these days.
The general consensus coming from Brass Facts and Hop is the Elcan is an amazing red dot that nobody likes enough to justify keeping because they hold their value. So you might splurge out and spend $3,000 on one and get it, and you probably won't have many complaints with it. But eventually you start to realize I can sell this for $3,000 right now. Do I care about this Elcan more than I care about $3,000?
I sold mine for $2,000. I think to Vadim.
Really?
No, I had 2 of them.
Oh, okay. I'm still there.
I bought 2 of them during COVID.
Elcans are great, but most people will tell there's a couple issues with them, such as the whole thing's on rails. Like, it's not hard mounted like an ACOG is. The beauty of an ACOG is it's super light because it's simple. There's nothing moving. It's also super durable because it's simple. It's a rock. While the Elcan is floating on a rail system where to zero the red dot, you're literally shifting the entire optic, like side to side, up and down.
From a retailer's perspective, this is kind of just a theory that I have. Like, I have a theory that stuff gets used in the field and it percolates down. Like either soft guys use it or real people use it in the field. It percolates down and somehow it gets into the commercial market. And we saw either LPVOs, like the rise of them due to 3-gun or them being used in the field. And now from what I see being used right now around the world, like it's their LPVOs. It's not, or a Holosun in Ukraine. But and then eventually, like not, I guess, fad or not, the hard use of an optic will percolate down into retail, and or if it gets picked up in the gunosphere, like for instance, like the renaissance of ACOGs right now, then eventually it'll get to people will come in and start asking for them. It hasn't got to that point yet. Like, people aren't coming in and asking for ACOGs yet, because we used to sell the absolute fuck out of them. Like, it was like, because I've used ACOGs, since when I was a boy, if you could get an ACOG, that was like a big deal. Like, if you could get one. And so when I got my first one, I was like, oh, fuck. And that's all. But we were just bench shooting. We weren't really, training like we do now. But, because I have 4 of them in the back. And I'm like, fuck, is it the right way to be?
I'm going
to try tomorrow.
They're lighter on the gun. They have an amazing field of view. They're super clear. You never have to adjust anything.
I know.
They're as durable as a rock. It's just the eye relief fucking sucks. If you can deal with the eye relief,
Just get the bigger one.
Sure. Yeah.
Everybody makes fun of you, but
No, it's not that. The main reason people like to get the TAO2, from what I see, is the most popular model, the battery powered one.
because you can stick that red dot on front.
Yeah, the red dot mounts up front,
Right.
and you can manually adjust the brightness. The problem with the tritium ones that is solvable is that if it's super bright sun outside, your reticle's brightness is directly tied to how bright it is.
Can't you just add a little tape to it?
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier to just hit a dial than to adjust the amount of tape on the top on the fly. So I have the battery powered one. I have the TAO2 because I like my RMR a little farther forward and I like to be able to adjust that brightness. But people make products like there's a company that makes a cap that goes over the tritium where you can adjust, like slide it over to adjust exactly how bright it's going to be. There's solutions. You can get the 3.5 times if you don't like the eye relief.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I like the TAO2.
I'm taking it out tomorrow. We had so many of those things, and we could not get rid of them.
I love this conversation.
So you want to go back to ACOG?
What?
You want to go back to ACOG?
Oh, I'm trying. I have this thing, and I'm gonna take it out tomorrow.
You think it's gonna be better for you?
I don't know.
Just try it out. See
Fucking
what
the
happens.
T-Rex guys are using it, so I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you started watching T-Rex after their downfall.
Isn't it? I like fucking the new guy more.
You like Wombat?
I like Wombat. Well, like he doesn't really talk that much. He just shoots a lot. I'm just like, shit, all right. Yeah, but like this, like here. You want to see it?
Just don't drop that.
Why?
That SRO is...
It's seen better days.
I was going to say, the RMR is really great on those. Acros are amazing. If you're crazy, you'll put a T2 on it. That SRO will break if you drop that rifle.
It's probably 10 years old, that thing. I've had two of them at one time. I sold one back when I needed Christmas presents for the kids back in the day. I had two of them. And then I have 4 little ones scattered amongst the shop.
Oh, she told me. I would have brought mine.
Here's the only thing I can contribute to this conversation. The only thing I know about ACOGs is all the video games that I play. That's what the soldiers on the games always have on their rifles. So that's
That's it, Jeff.
learned anything about ACOGs. And secondly, all my ARs have iron sights, so none of this shit means anything to me.
All your ARs have iron sights?
Correct.
Man, it's 2025.
Yeah, but
Get a red dot.
I know how to shoot, so I don't need a red
Oh,
dot.
fair enough.
No, they do. They all have iron sights. Mostly.
Does your high
iron
point
sights I
have
bought
iron
from here, I
sights?
think. I don't have the high point anymore, man. That was
What
when I
happened to
first
it?
started buying guns. I sold it.
Why?
I don't know, because I was just selling it and upgrading stuff.
Okay. Probably tomorrow, if you guys go film, I want you guys to go do a high point challenge.
Those are fun.
Oh, yeah.
We did that one when Skinny did that one year.
No,
We shot the
no,
ARs and
like
stuff.
more of a burn test.
Yeah, like see
how
catch on
much.
fire.
Exactly.
Oh, Nate's going to kill me if I do that.
Their rifles those high point rifles are nice. The handguns obviously are pieces of shit, but the rifles are pretty good rifles. Actually.
So Jeff, I wanted
Yes.
you to come because I've been
Because you want my commentary on sights,
because now I want
red
your
dots. You put tape on your gun to like cover up your sight,
cover up the tritium.
make it less bright.
No, he has the one that you don't have to do that.
But
So how
yes,
come-
I do put tape on
So when
it.
I watch the gun movies now with the soldiers and stuff, they have like the magnifier on the top, and then they put like their red dot on the side, and so they shoot like this, and then they turn like this to shoot the red dot because it's kind of like on the Picatinny as like a thing. Is that like a thing?
Competition shooters love that. Not as many real life guys.
John Wick does that.
John Wick does do that,
and he'll
'cause
turn
he-
it because he has this thing on the angle.
Because he comes from the competition.
Right, yeah, that's where he learned all that stuff.
Competition.
All right, cool. So in like the field, they don't put that on there.
And not as often as like a top mounted piggyback.
Okay.
Yeah, they're doing piggybacks now.
Because yeah, that makes more sense to me to just have it a little bit higher. Because if it's just a red dot, it doesn't matter. But I see a lot of them do that side flippy.
You'll see
thing.
a
I
lot
think
of
it's kind
competition.
Side flippy.
That's the technical term, right?
Yep.
Side flippy.
I like side flipping.
It works.
So I've noticed. So there's a bit of an FRT craze going on, and
Oh yeah.
the reason why we can't sell FRTs in Florida is because of this Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act of what, 2020, 2022, whenever the fuck it was.
Yeah, it was 2020.
So
Before then, maybe 2019.
okay, so
It was
correct me.
before the
So
pandemic.
what I know about that law was you had the Pulse shooting where lots of people died. You had the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act shooting, but neither of them had a bump stock.
Correct.
Neither of them had a FRT trigger. Those shooters had, I think,
I'm not sure those triggers even existed back then, did they?
FRT was invented in 2014.
Oh, okay.
So, but
Never heard of them until after that.
when the dust settled, a week later, they banned kids who are 18 from buying firearms. They banned bump stocks and anything that could increase your rate of fire, and they enacted red flag law. Does that sound about right?
Those are the negative things that came out of it. Yeah, there were a bunch of positive things, like the guardianship program is in there that we all know, where they have the fully armed officer at every school now that was required to do that. That was actually in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act, where they created the guardians and funded that program.
You're like my wife telling me I focus only on the bad.
Well, I'm just saying we're here to focus on the negative, but there's
good things.
There were some positive things about that. There was funding for the school security systems, for the training that they give the kids now about hiding and locking doors, the better security doors, the fencing around a lot of the schools that you have now, and then the guardianship program. So a lot of that stuff was in the positive side of the bill. And then, of course, there were a bunch of negative things that came out of it.
Well, I mean, how the fuck did they get let's ban bump stocks?
Much like all the other negative stuff in there, it was just a reaction. It was right after Trump had actually banned, for all the positive things that Trump does or whatever. One of the things he did bad in the first term was he banned the bump stock. So the bump stock was used in the Las Vegas shooting,
allegedly,
which we still don't have, right?
Allegedly.
We still don't know exactly all the facts about that, but I know you guys do the conspiracy stuff down in the end there. So I'll just go with the legal stuff. So the bump stock.
I think you could probably say that guy most likely did not shoot those people with the bump stock. I mean,
it's a little difficult to control your gun. My understanding is when you use those things. But setting that aside, it was allegedly used in the Las Vegas shooting.
Okay,
and so that was the first time anybody had heard of this concept of a bump stock, and it became sort of famous. And it's what we call low hanging fruit. It was an easy thing to just say, fine, let's just ban bump stocks, because most people in the gun community think they're stupid. They don't use them, right? They're not practical. And so the NRA and everybody was kind of like, well, we'll just keep quiet about bump stocks because nobody fucking cares. And so it got pushed through by Trump. He banned bump stocks. And so that had already been done on a federal level. Then comes all the Florida shootings that you mentioned, and the main one being the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting, where they killed all the kids at the high school. And then they had to push out this act as a knee-jerk reaction. And so, again, low-hanging fruit, they're trying to find negative things to put in there that they think are positive that will help them
that'll get them their funding.
Florida or whatever, probably.
And make people happy.
It could have been a back-and-forth thing. Hey, I'll give you funding for Guardians if you give me bump stocks or whatever. I'm sure all that shit goes on. But mainly it was just a knee-jerk overreaction, because everybody was freaking out at the time. Rick Scott was getting a bunch of grief about it or whatever, and so they came up with this act, and they put a bunch of negative things in there. And the red flag law is in there, which is the risk protection order. That's where you get the 21-year-olds to purchase firearms. And then you have the bump stock ban, which is a separate statute. It's actually not really in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act, but it's a separate statute that did this all-encompassing thing about rate of fire on your firearm.
It's not even in the original bill. It was an accompanying act.
Well, it was part of the whole concept, but there is no Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act statute. You don't go to the statute book and find that with all those laws in it. It passed a bunch of laws that go in different parts of the Florida statute. So it's a separate statute that bans bump stocks.
So how do we get them unbanned?
You have to repeal the statute. They have to enter it, but just like every other law, you put a law in place. If you want to get rid of it, you have to repeal the law. Didn't you see the schoolhouse rock thing with the guy? That's how bills become law, exactly. You have to get rid of them. No, you have to repeal them.
How can it be illegal? How can FRT triggers and bump stocks be illegal when federally they repealed the Bump Stock Act?
They didn't repeal the Bump Stock Act. That was not a law that was passed federally. That was an executive order signed by Trump to the ATF saying ban bump stocks. They basically made bump stocks illegal to own administratively through an ATF regulation.
Oh, that gets me kind of pissed off.
In the state of Florida, they actually passed a statute that's on the books. So when the Supreme Court recently ruled, all they did was overturn Trump's executive order, administrative law, and said he didn't have the authority to do that. So on a federal level, bump stocks are legal, but that doesn't overturn the state law banning bump stocks, because that's a state law. It's a separate issue. So they're banning legal in Florida.
Is there anybody fighting those provisions?
Not really. I mean, they come again. That's a low hanging fruit thing. They're focusing a lot right now on the 18-year-old thing. There is a lot of push to remove that part of it and lower it from 21 to 18. There's a little bit of push to get rid of the red flag laws, although I think that ship has sailed. They're never going to get. They're never going to get rid of the sheriffs like it too much. It's not going to happen. I think you might see some movement on the 18-year-old thing. There's a lot of rulings from other states and other jurisdictions that are coming out and saying it can't be 21. It's got to be 18. So I think you might see legislators give that something to the Second Amendment community so they'll get off their back. But there is no push that I'm aware of to repeal the bump stock ban.
What's my dog doing over there making noises?
Yeah, who knows?
Just making noise every once in a
Well, they're
while.
awake
She
now.
looks up.
Oh, she wants you to give her attention.
I keep petting her to see if I can get her to stop.
Well, that's the problem. Once you start petting them, they never stop.
Yeah, she wants attention.
So do you think it'll be a lawsuit though? Could a lawsuit overturn this or?
Well, yeah, I mean that's something just like any other law. Somebody would get arrested under the statute. They would have to be convicted for it, and then they can file an appeal that says it's unconstitutional, and then it can work its way up through the system and get overturned that particular way. But somebody's got to get arrested for it and go
We're
through all the appeal
sacrificing Luke.
process. So that's right. It's like every other statute. You have to find a sacrificial person who's willing to go through all that, and most people aren't willing to do
So
it.
speaking of renaissances, we spoke on this probably 20 episodes back, but like there seems to be an FRT renaissance, if you will.
I would say not really a renaissance. The FRT was, last time we talked about it, the FRT was still like a concept that pretty much only existed for made by like 3 companies for just ARs. Since then, people have, once it's kind of been defined, like, yes, this is currently legal and you can absolutely do it with no legal consequences, everybody started just innovating. They started making it for different platforms.
We had Luke kind of do a little bit of research on it. I guess when it happened, Luke, May of this year is when
the lawsuit against rare breed triggers was dropped by the feds.
And it seems to coincide with the dropping of the lawsuit. That's when everybody. And now she's looking at me.
Well, and that's why I said it when you said 2014. That was surprising to me because I had never heard of the concept of a force reset trigger. We say FRT just in case anybody out there doesn't know what we're talking about. But I'd never heard of FRTs until this law was passed, because then I started getting call after call from people going, well, wait a minute, the way I read this, it might affect my FRT. Will it affect my FRT? And then a bunch of lawyers for Florida concealed carry and the NRA. Like I'm in these, groups of lawyers that and we all text each other and email each other for advice and questions and stuff. And everybody basically come to the same consensus that, the way that it's written, it's going to cover all that shit. FRTs, binary triggers, any of that kind of stuff is going to be considered a bump stock and is going to be considered illegal. I had not heard of the concept of an FRT until then. I knew about binary triggers because you actually had one, and the first time I ever shot one on one of your shoots was the first time I'd ever shot one.
Allegedly.
Pre-ban. They were illegal back then.
Yeah.
It was when they first kind of came out.
No, they used to sell bump stocks at the gun shows.
Yeah, they were legal. They were perfectly legal.
Like 2011, 2012.
They were perfectly legal, and technically they're legal again because again the regulation was thrown out. But a lot of states, obviously banned them. But I hadn't heard of FRTs until this law came out, and then that's when everybody started calling and asking me about FRTs, and then we did the research and said, you're not going to be able to have them. So our advice, even though it doesn't say, as you've read the statute, it doesn't say specific items. Like it doesn't say a bump stock, because we all know what that is. It doesn't say a force reset trigger. It's this blob of language that says anything basically that is intended or used to increase the rate of fire on your firearm is going to be considered banned. So any of those things that make you shoot faster than what your human trigger can shoot is going to be considered a bump stock device, and it's going to be a felony.
Luke, when was the first one that came out? Like in the 70s, right?
Yeah, there's a guy.
What was his name?
I don't think I wrote
like
it down,
the first one that came out was in the 70s.
Yeah.
It was on 1022.
It was on 1022s, and he also had them for like Colt single action revolvers, which is crazy, but he says he made them in the 70s.
Like we all you just hold the trigger, right? And you just pull back on the hammer. I've seen those movies.
But yeah, in the 70s, that's when allegedly that's when they started making them for like 1022s, and
then the what's his name in 2014 patented it.
It's the same guy.
Same guy.
Yeah.
And he made them in 2014 for ARs.
Yeah, the first AR-15 FRT was
and now it seems that any industrious entrepreneur / kid with a 3D printer can make one.
I imagine like everything else you can. Yeah, anybody who creates triggers or whatever can. It's just a design. Once you figure it out, you only got to. You're only supposed to get the patent helps you if another company wants to make it, but if somebody wants to steal your design and make it in their garage, like there's not a whole lot you can do about that.
I hear Rare Breed gave a bunch of cease and desist to all the other companies that are making them because they have the patent on the FRT.
Right.
And I contacted the TX22 people, Freedom Triggers, and I tried to get them to send me one, and the ATF will not let them send anything to Florida.
Right, because it's illegal.
Yeah, like they'll come find it and destroy it.
I'm sure somebody's listening that doesn't know what it is. Just in layman's terms, a force reset trigger is basically what braces are for short-barreled rifles for machine guns. It's a way to exploit the way that the law was written to get basically the same thing, but it's not. I feel like that's the best way to put it. Like the same way a brace, because of the way that they wrote, because usually people who write anti-gun laws don't know anything about guns. So they just write stuff down, and us as the industry, we innovate around that and find ways through those cracks. FRTs are that for machine guns, where it's supposed to be one action of the trigger and one gunshot, one action of the trigger. And technically, even though in practice when you hold it down, it keeps firing, in reality, you are individually pulling the trigger each time. It's just kind of assisting you in doing that.
Right, and that's why they banned them, because they're clearly designed to essentially make your semi-automatic firearm an automatic firearm without actually making it an automatic firearm. Just like a brace was theoretically designed for, I understand originally it was for the military people that only had one arm maybe or whatever, but it was clearly at some point intended to be used as a short barrel rifle stock without being a stock. And so the ATF looks at those and goes, no, it's a stock. And then that obviously went back and forth for years. And now they're looking at these force reset triggers and saying, yeah, that's a conversion kit essentially for your semi-automatic rifle, and you can't have them. And I think you get them on pistols and everything now too. So
I'm looking at it as it's an economic disadvantage for small business. Like, why can the rest of the country sell them? We can't.
Yeah.
Well, you can say that about it. I mean, there's all kinds of things that are probably banned here that you can buy in other states.
Like what?
Dragon's Breath.
I mean, I'm sure there's other items that are like, it's probably not even just firearm related. There's probably car stuff you can't buy, or chemicals that you can buy in some states that you can't buy in other states. It's an individual state. There's certainly a shit ton of things you can't buy in California that you can buy in every other state.
Yeah, but
New
we
York,
ain't California.
So. Although that is
Florida.
That is kind of having the same thing happen. We started building California compliant ARs now, and I actually started to figure out how they're doing it over there, and it's the same thing. The people who wrote the anti-gun laws don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and it's very easy to read around the laws and just make something that practically voids it. So in California, their rule is if your gun has a detachable magazine, it can't have these assault features like threaded barrels, pistol grips, adjustable stocks, stupid shit.
Right.
But the main thing is if it has a detachable mag. The way they define detachable mag is if it can be removed without the firearm being disassembled. So the California people, what they came up with is for an AR, it replaces your rear takedown lever. It's a button now. You click it, the upper receiver hinges up literally an inch, and now the firearm is disassembled, so you can remove your mag, do a reload, and then just
reassemble it,
close it. I love seeing this because it's so difficult to obviously get laws repealed or try to get rights back or whatever, but it seems to be supremely easy to just figure out these people, what they wrote down, and then just do something that goes around it. And I love seeing it because right now, if you look at America as a whole, not just Florida, machine guns and SBRs, two things on the NFA, are able to be legally emulated by braces and FRTs. I'm sure somebody at one point, if it's even possible with the way that law is written or interpreted, will figure out a way to do that with silencers. And
They tried that, the oil can things.
Yeah.
And they came down on them.
They came down on them hard too.
Came down on them hard.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if this is the way forward, is just FRTs get so good or braces get so good or whatever gets so good that it's just the NFA is still there on paper, but it can basically just be skirted around.
I don't want to say the genius of the way they wrote the statute. Because it is so broad, though, you really can't get those workarounds on it because it's literally anything right that increases the rate of fire. So you can try all these weird little things or whatever, but that's why they didn't make it so specific of this thing or that thing.
And who
because
wrote
they
it?
know that you're going to do
Pam
that.
Bondi?
So it's really broad. She had a hand in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act. I don't know if she wrote that specific language, but they all those people were part of that crew. Like Rick Scott was part of that crew, obviously, and then Pam Bondi was in that crew. I can't remember what the Department of Agriculture guy was at the time. The leader of the Senate was a Republican. He kind of wrote that language as well. It was funny. I was actually in front of a judge about 3 years ago in one of the counties in the middle of the state. I don't remember. It wasn't Polk County, but it was one of those weird counties in the middle of the state. I was out there for a case, and we were doing a risk protection order. And he literally said, I helped write this statute. I'm one of the two people who drafted it. I fully believe in this statute. I think it works. So I'm going to grant the risk protection order. Now,
what's a risk protection order?
That's the red flag law, basically, that says they take your guns.
Okay.
Yeah. So then they also had just regular lawyers write those kind of statutes. Now, the funny thing was, not to go on a side tangent, but they arrested my client for aggravated assault with a firearm, and then they also hit him with an RPO, and he got the same judge. So we had the RPO hearing, and he says, I think you're a danger. I like the RPO law. I'm going to pass this, or I helped write it. I'm going to take your guns away. So immediately I filed a motion to recuse him as his criminal judge because I'm like, well, clearly you're prejudiced against my client, which had to be granted because that's what the statute says. So I got him removed, and I got another judge in there that gave my guy like a withhold and like community service for pulling a gun on a couple of people. So it actually ended up working out in the long run because I got a better judge.
But he's not allowed to have guns anymore.
Well, his risk protection order goes away after a year, and that was years ago. So he's probably back to having a gun.
Okay.
But anyway, that's an aside. But anybody could, they get input from all those people to write that kind of stuff. But that's why it's so broad, because I don't know how you're going to get around that statute. Like, no, I don't see any trickeration that somebody can use on a firearm that's going to increase its rate of fire. That's not going to fall under that broad definition of that statute
in Florida.
And there will be sheriffs, prosecutors, all kinds of people are going to want to like enforce that sort of law.
Well, what I'm wondering is maybe it being broad is
that's the way you'd have to attack it. Correct. That's the way you do it. Is somebody has to get arrested. Mm-hmm. You challenge it as being overbroad. Number one, you challenge it as being unconstitutional. And then number two, you challenge it as being overbroad because it catches too much of a category. And then you kind of work your way for the system. But it's been 5 years now or 6 years now or whenever that was passed, because that was Rick Scott. So that was pre-DeSantis. DeSantis is in his 7th year. So you got to go back 7 years at this particular point. So you're talking 2017 or 2018. It's still here. They haven't changed it. They haven't repealed it, and nobody's challenged it and gone to the Supreme Court.
From what we found, the research that Luke did, no one's been arrested for it.
Right, because they haven't caught anybody for it.
In 7 years?
But how are you going to get caught with it? So it's one of those situations where if you own one, you don't necessarily have to put it on your gun. But if you put it on your gun, who's going to know? Even if you go to a range, if you're dumb enough to go to a public range, but then somebody's got to call the cops and say, hey, he's got a forced reset. Is that probable cause to go search you and look at your gun because somebody says they think you have a forced reset? No.
And then
what's going to happen is the way you're going to get caught is somebody's going to put it in their carry gun. They're going to use it in a self-defense shooting. They're going to take that gun as evidence in a self-defense shooting, and somebody's going to go, what the fuck kind of trigger is on this gun? And now they may say, you know what? Your shooting was justified. Good for you. But guess what? We're hitting you with a violation of this because you have the wrong gun on there. You basically have to get caught in probably some unrelated crime that just gives them access to your gun. It's similar to the whole marijuana thing. Like, you can have a gun and smoke marijuana. Who's going to know? Because you're probably not walking around smoking a joint, waving your gun around. What's going to happen is you're going to use your gun in a self-defense shooting. They're going to search you because you're going to be arrested. They're going to find marijuana in you. They're going to find your marijuana card when they take your wallet, or they're going to urine test you for some reason because they just want to know. And then they're going to find your weed, and then you're going to get charged on the backside because they find out that particular way. So it's like everything else. They only catch you if they catch you. And if you're just walking around with it triggering your gun, nobody's walking around with X-ray machines looking inside your gun. So you have to get arrested.
That's another thing I wanted to ask you about. What is it now? Like, didn't someone rule the in Florida, they ruled that the federal government is being unconstitutional. What they do? They ruled the pot thing was unconstitutional or something in Florida.
No. So this recent sort of thing that came out, it was a motion to dismiss. So there's a pending case about somebody using marijuana and having it wasn't really using marijuana. They had a medical marijuana card and were carrying a firearm. And so they basically sued, or they got arrested or whatever, but somebody filed a motion to dismiss the case. It's what they call like summary judgment, where you say there's no argument here, judge. All the facts say one thing, dismiss the case. All the judges said was, I'm not granting a motion to dismiss. It can go forward on the merits of the case. So they didn't come out with a ruling that said, yes, marijuana users and guns are okay. They simply said at a preliminary stage, I'm not granting the motion to dismiss just because you say the statute says they can't have both. So it's sort of
completely confused.
All right. So
That's just not me.
So let's do it. Let's do this. Let's use an easy thing called stand your ground. We all know that stand your ground. So you shoot somebody and you get arrested for a crime.
Yep.
And then you have the right to file a stand your ground motion and go in front of a judge and say, Judge, I acted in self-defense. Dismiss this case before it goes to a jury. The judge can say, no, I don't think it's enough to dismiss it. I'm going to let it go to a jury.
Okay.
That's the same thing that happened here. So you file a lawsuit.
So the judge let it go to the jury?
Correct. Not a jury, but to be heard on the merits. So, because it may not be a jury, it may be in front of a judge. But it's a preliminary motion that you file in the beginning of the case that says, even if everybody agrees on these facts, the case should be dismissed. All the judge did was say, no, I'm not going to dismiss it at this stage early in the case. It needs to go further and be tried by whoever the trier of fact is. Could be a judge, could be a jury, or et cetera. It's just a preliminary motion that was denied. So when you see all these articles about, because this is the clickbait shit that they put in the articles and the YouTube videos about judge upholds right of marijuana users to own guns, that's not what the ruling was. The ruling says, I'm not dismissing this case at this juncture, which is probably like a month into the case. We're going to let the case play itself out, and then we'll have a hearing at the end. Maybe I will dismiss it at the end, or I'll rule in favor of the marijuana users when we get to the end, but I'm not dismissing it here on the front end. It's got to go through the process. So it's a victory because they didn't just agree with the state and say, you're right, they can't have marijuana.
Well, the way you're explaining it doesn't sound like a victory. Am I right?
It's not a victory for Joe Schmo walking down the street with his marijuana because it's still illegal to do it. They didn't overturn it as unconstitutional. They didn't throw out the statute. It hasn't been repealed by anybody else. All the judge said was, I'm not dismissing the case 2 months into it. We're going to deal with this when we get to the trial or the hearing down at the end of the line.
Yeah, I got a message from 3 or 4 potheads, saying
right, because they
Did you get messages too?
Because they put that shit in the headlines for clickbait.
And it's clickbait.
In the headlines.
So all the potheads are calling
in favor of marijuana users in Florida. And then the judge, made a couple of statements in his ruling about, basically, I think it might be unconstitutional, or I don't see where they're any different than somebody who uses regular prescription drugs. So that's why I'm not going to dismiss it. I'm going to let this lawsuit go forward. They take those quotes out and they say, judge rules in favor of whatever and says marijuana users have a Second Amendment right to have a gun. That don't mean shit because it's one judge in one case who didn't even rule on the merits of the case. It was a preliminary motion filed by one of the parties that isn't controlling at the end. I have one, like you can lose a temporary motion and still win like your trial at the end. Like it happens a lot in, say, family law custody cases where somebody does an emergency motion that says that man's a horrible dad, suspend his visitation. And the judge has a quick little hearing on the front end and says, okay, I'm going to temporarily suspend the visitation. We're going to have a full hearing in 2 months. In 2 months, you go in and the judge says, okay, you can get your visitation back because I'm overturning my temporary thing. Like there are temporary rulings in front of cases and then there's the final ruling at the end of a case. You can never go off of the temporary rulings for anything legally in the case because it could always be overturned at the end when they get to the final hearing. And even that's not really going to be binding because it's one judge on one case. It's not like an appeals panel or the Florida Supreme Court or even the National Supreme Court. It's one judge doing a preliminary ruling on one case that doesn't affect anybody except the people in that case.
Is there any movement nationally to make the whole pot thing illegal?
There always is, because it just needs to be removed from the Schedule A. That's all they have to do is just take it from the Schedule 1 or whatever it is and put it down to Schedule 2. Because right now it's on Schedule 1 with cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, like it's up there. If they just moved it down to where Oxycontin, Percocet, like the controlled substance pills are, just moved it down there, it would be perfectly legal for you to get a prescription for it, or if the state doesn't even require a prescription, you could be perfectly fine. But as long as the federal government puts it in Schedule 1 and the federal governments are the ones who do the 4473 background checks, it doesn't matter what every state does. So you have to get a national push to remove it from the registry. And actually, Trump just came out like a couple weeks ago and says he doesn't think it's a good idea to remove it from the registry because it's, a gateway drug, and he doesn't think it's a good idea. So you have to get, again, go back to the ABC Schoolhouse Rock. You have to get a bill passed through the Senate and the House. It's got to go to the president's desk, and he's got to sign it, and then it'll be moved from Schedule 1 to Schedule 2. They don't even have to make it legal. They can just move it down a schedule, and then it won't be a problem. But I think it's one thing that a lot of conservatives and liberals actually agree on is decriminalizing marijuana. You get people on both sides of the aisle that are okay with that, but there's not a national push or anything that ever gets put in front of committee.
Decriminalizing it is one thing, but I
just move it. Again, if you don't want it to be legal, that's fine.
I just don't
move the schedule.
I don't feel right. Like you can't sell guns to people when they stink like booze.
Right. If they come in and you think they're intoxicated, right.
Well, I mean, if you smell alcohol, you don't sell guns to people who smell like alcohol.
Correct.
Same thing as, pot smokers, they smell like pot all the time.
Correct.
So it's just,
it's obvious.
It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like,
it's obvious.
Like I don't want to mess with it.
No, it's not worth the risk, because then that comes back on you, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, no, we don't, if you smell like pot, we kick you out. So don't come back.
Smart.
I still remember when.
Wish I could do that, because most of my clients come to the smell like pot with their bloodshot eyes, and I'm trying to explain to them what their plea offer is, and it's not going real well.
I still remember when Nikki said her concealed carry permit is right next to her medical marijuana
she's
card.
standing up there holding them on the steps.
Yeah.
Who said that?
Nikki Fried.
The
Really?
commissioner that issues concealed carry permits, signs off on them. She was like, "Yeah, I don't believe in this at all. I've got my pot card right next to my concealed carry and my wallet. They sit together." And I remember seeing that, and I'm like, "Oh,
yeah,
must be like legal or something."
That's because she didn't understand that. She didn't. She's an idiot. She was an idiot, number one. And she just didn't understand the law.
Is she still around?
No,
it's
she
turning
lost
sun
to
on my
the.
card.
She lost to the guy who was the guy she lost to was the president of the Senate when the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act was passed. So it was Sampson, I think his name is Simpson.
Is that Department of Agriculture?
Wilton Simpson.
Simpson, right? Yeah, Wilton Simpson. He defeated her in the last election.
Aren't they both
4 years ago,
Republicans?
whatever.
No, she's a Democrat.
No, she was a Democrat. She was the only Democrat elected to statewide office that cycle. And then he beat her last time, but he was the president of the Senate when the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act was passed. So he's now in charge of the Department of Agriculture. But their applications are way down, obviously, because once they passed a law that says you didn't need a permit anymore, there's not a lot going on over there. But yeah, no, you just gotta. I mean, it doesn't make any. It's like everything else; it doesn't make any sense. And people just didn't understand what the law was. I had doctors that prescribe it were telling the patients when they came in, "Oh yeah, you can have your gun and your permit," and they're quoting that. "Oh, Nikki Fried says all that." So, and then they call me and we're like, "Don't listen to your doctor because he's an idiot because he's wrong. Like, I'm not going to tell you what kind of cancer treatment you should get, and you should listen to him on whether you can have a firearm with your marijuana card or not." But they were basically deceiving people and lying to people and telling them they could have it, and you can't. Sucks, but you can't.
You hear that, Luke?
Yeah.
Stay away from the fucking ganja.
Percocet you want.
I'm clean.
You can take all the Percocet you want and the hydrocodone you want, but you can't have marijuana.
Does it apply to the shit they sell at gas stations now?
Yeah, well, no, but that's like that's another thing. So sort of back to what you were talking about, how you change things to get around what the law is. It actually reminded me a lot of the marijuana laws because that's what always happens with the marijuana law. Originally, like when the marijuanas came out and the edibles and like the bath salts and stuff, the statute had a specific formula for what was illegal, what was THC, or what like the bath salt formula was, like a literal like scientific chemistry formula. Then they would just fucking go out on the street and like change the formula. They would add like an extra this or an extra that. Then they would have an emergency session. It was funny because this happened for like a year back when I was at the state attorney's office. They would call an emergency session and go in and then like add that new chemistry to it. Then they would just go out and create a third one that had a different chemistry thing. Then they'd call an emergency session and go in and add, and they just kept doing that over and over again. And then finally somebody came up with the broad language similar to that said, or any derivative thereof, or any sort of combination of these or whatever. And then they stopped changing all the chemical formulas because they finally figured out a way to encompass it. And I think you're seeing that with those type of things now. When you go into the gas stations, you go into the health stores, the herb stores downtown or whatever, and they sell the gummies and stuff. They don't necessarily have really the THC that matches the definition or the formula. Instead, they've got all the derivatives of it, and they're putting in the dog pills now and everything. So you're seeing a lot of that that's the chemical workaround to the statute that's similar to what the firearm workarounds for that stuff. So all that stuff is legal, and I don't believe that stuff falls under the definition of marijuana in the statute or the federal statute. So like those fake, I don't even know if they work because they're not real, but whatever.
What, you mean gummies?
Well, not like true THC gummies are real, but
the
there's
stuff
all
they sell in gas stations.
Correct. All these things that you sell in a gas station and the other stores. It's not THC. Why am I drawing a blank on it? What is it?
Delta 8, Delta 10.
CBD?
Oh, wait.
CBD, that's it. I was trying to think of the other three letters. I was like, THC, it's the CBD.
I know the performance enhancing pills don't work.
Great Rhino?
I would know that because I've never had to even look into that concept.
Oh, I have.
The Raging Rhino works.
That's between you and your wife, man. I'm good.
Really? No, Raging Rhino.
You just got to go to Koreatown, right? And they have all the
Where
different
is
powders.
Koreatown?
I don't know. I heard that all the
Pretty
Korean,
racist, dude.
all the Korean towns or whatever sell all those, like the rhino horn, or they
You got to talk to Mauser.
they melt down a blowfish or something and put it in a gel packet. I don't know, all those weird
I got a whole
things.
medicine cabinet full of.
But again, oysters, man. All you need are oysters, right?
Oh yeah, oysters. Yeah, but it's out of season. You gotta watch out. You ever been
gas station oysters? Those are the best.
You ever been sick from oysters?
I don't eat oysters.
Oh, fuck, man, I've gotten sick.
Oysters are the filter of the sea. Their job is to suck up all the crap from the water and spit out like cleaner water. So literally inside their bodies is all the crap.
Yeah, it's
like licking your filter from your pool or something like that. That's what they do. I mean, I guess that's what livers do too. And
do you want to hear the nasty? I like something happened. I've flown a lot in all over the place, going to traveling with the business, and this lady fucking shit herself on the plane.
Nice.
Like Andrew told me in very great detail about that. I was
so my one.
By some woman, do you mean you?
No, man.
Just double checking.
No, the one great superpower I have is regulated bowel movements, and I can sleep on planes like really well. Like I just right when it takes off, I pass out. And Andrew got stuck in front of me on Spirit with two black ladies, and they were wasted. It was like 5 a.m. They were just fucking hooting and hollering. And then I slept all during the occurrence. And I guess like this lady just fucking let it happen. She probably had oysters and she
and alcohol. They'll make
and alcohol.
Yeah.
And she let the seat have it and got all over some guy's, backpack. You know, it like ran down and got all over guy's backpack on the underneath. And
Andrew was trying.
I don't know how we got here from force reset trigger.
We started talking about oysters.
No, because you started talking about how you can't get it up. That's a whole different issue.
I never said that. I just said I had a
You needed pills.
No, I just wanted to know where they sell the pills.
Koreatown. We already established
And
that.
I told you there's no Koreatown in Sarasota.
I bet you could find one.
I've looked for it.
I bet you can find one.
Andrew said the lady was denying it. No.
Denying it.
Yeah, she was denying it.
The way Andrew told it to me, he does a great way of telling stories. But he's just like, Andrew just sees it run down her leg, And then she goes and wipes it with her hand, and Andrew goes, "Don't know where it went after that."
Oh dear God!
And then the flight attendants and stuff show up, and they're like, "Hey, lady," and then she's like, "No, not me."
I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know where that smell's coming from.
She got shit all over her.
Oh yeah, she's covered in shit, and she's just like, "Nope, not me." It was,
And then they finally
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
they finally forced her to go to the bathroom and change.
She just wouldn't get up. Just wanted to
Doesn't do
sit
any
there and
good to
shit.
the-
And then
well, I
they-
probably wouldn't get up either. Like if it's all over your,
They came out.
you just want to sit there until you get where you're going, and then sprint out the plane.
The guy's backpack. They came out with a big garbage bag because he got all over his backpack.
biohazard.
Yeah, with like
It was under the seat. Like the guy from behind her that put it under her seat. Oh.
And I slept during the whole thing.
That's why you can't tell the story as good as Andrew can, because he was watching it.
And then
He was living it.
and then so I get off the plane, and he's got this look of like complete terror, right? And he's like, did you see what happened to me? I said, no, man, I slept. You didn't see? You didn't hear? No, I didn't hear. You didn't smell? No, man. He's like, that lady shit herself. I was like, what lady, dude? What are you talking about? We got to catch another plane. And then, like, so the Strybog people, our booth was next to theirs in Reno, and the same thing happened to them, except
Separate occasion.
separate occasion.
my.
Except it
Two
was
independent plane poopers.
two independent plane poop. Except the
It's Vegas, man. I mean, what the fuck?
Mr.
Except
President, there's
the-
been a second plane.
the guy. What'd you say?
There was a second shitter.
Mr. President,
In the
there's been a
grassy
second
knoll.
plane.
Except this guy just like stood up in the middle of the aisle and just fucking shot himself.
This is going to Vegas or home from Vegas?
Going to Reno. So, but we
same,
but we
yeah.
stopped in San Diego.
See, I would think coming back from there is when that would happen. I wouldn't think it would happen on the way out.
I don't know, man, but I've never seen anything like that.
Pre-game.
Right? I guess. They start partying early, I guess. What happens on the way to Reno stays in Reno.
Those people in Sarasota, they fucking tear it down. You know what I mean? So do you think that there'll ever be like how do we get like FRAC or something or Gun Owners of America to go after the FRT law?
I mean, that's Florida specific. POA is more national.
Well, right. I mean, there are Florida. Again, the problem is you can't just challenge those laws.
You have to challenge the whole thing.
Well, no, you have to have standing. So, like,
So someone's got to get arrested,
correct.
and then we have to
This
get.
is always a problem. Everybody just always
Luke.
assumes if a law is passed, you just file a lawsuit that says, "Hey, this law is unconstitutional."
Luke.
No, somebody has to challenge it and be the sacrificial person. Like, I get this a lot on the
do
on
you
the
think
gun
that's
forum.
do you think that's why no one's been arrested for it?
Right, because you have to try to be like, how could you literally have to walk into the sheriff's department and say, "This is my gun and it's got a bump stock on it." Otherwise, how else are you going to get caught with it? I mean, a bump stock's a little more obvious because it's an external thing.
It looks like something.
But if it's a force reset trigger, like, how are you going to get caught with a force reset trigger? Right, you literally have to go into the police department and say, "I have this," and the person who does get caught with it is probably. It's going to be a secondary feature to a preliminary crime. So they're either possibly a murderer, they could be a drug dealer, and so they get caught with 15 kilos of cocaine and a force reset trigger. Well, who the fuck's going to represent that guy and challenge the force reset trigger law because he's not a clean defendant. So you got to find a clean defendant who's willing to do that. You have to find either he has to pay for the lawyers or you have to find an organization that's willing to front the money on that and use him as an example. And they're not going to do it. And again, it's low hanging fruit because I think a lot of these organizations don't give a crap about force reset triggers or bumps. Like, they want to focus on what they consider are the bigger issues, the more important issues, the 18-year-olds, the marijuana stuff, outright assault weapons bans in certain states, magazine bans,
NFA.
permit restrictions, NFA stuff. So, right, it's like when you're looking at the hierarchy of things to attack and you've got a limited amount of funds from your membership, are you representing a guy who probably committed another crime to fix a problem that 90% of your membership probably doesn't give two shits about? I mean, it's just a prioritization thing.
I know that the ATF they went to gun shops and confiscated FRT triggers back when they started going after rare breed, and I know that they took records and stuff like that. And I think that's where somebody ruled that they overstepped their bounds. I forget what year it was, but still now what they're doing is they're going to the FRT companies that are popping up and they're saying you can't ship those to Florida, and if you do, we'll come down on you. And I guess apparently the trigger people told me that they went to somebody they shipped it to in Florida and they made them destroy it.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because if they didn't make them destroy it, they could have arrested them and charged them with a violation of the statute. So I guess it was nice of them to just let the person destroy it.
Yeah, but how can they regulate the shipping of it?
Well, it is weird because they don't usually do that. Like if you ship it to the store, then you come and arrest everybody at the store who got them. So I understand that.
I mean, if a store had possession of the FRT, right, and it's a store, the store has the ability to sell the FRT across the country.
Right, but they can't. Well, I mean, can the store possess it though? Because the issue is the store is possessing it.
Oh, okay. And but okay, is it outright possession?
Well, what is
let me
read the thing. Does it have to be on a gun or just possessing it?
Possession is 9/10 of the law.
Well, no, but it depends on.
Yeah, like if
a person may not import into this state or transfer, distribute, sell, keep for sale, offer for sale, possess, or give to another person a bump fire stock. A person who violates this section commits a felony of the 3rd degree. Under this section, the term bump fire stock means a conversion kit, a tool, an accessory, or a device used to alter the rate of fire of a firearm to mimic automatic weapon fire, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, they can't import into the state. So if the out of the state company imports it in,
they're guilty of a felony.
They can get charged with a felony. If you as a store possess it, you get charged with a felony. It doesn't even have to be on a gun. It's just the item itself. It's literally the way the drug statute is written. Import, sale, transfer, possess. They basically took the language from the drug statutes and just changed it to bump fire stock. So no, that's why they're going to the stores and saying you can't ship it to Florida because importation is also a crime. Now, it's the importer. So it's still the crime on the shop, not the people who are sending it in. But they're basically I don't think they're probably ordering them not to do it. They're probably saying, do you really want to do it? Because nobody down there is allowed to have it. And so we find out you ship it to somebody, we're going to arrest all your customers and it's going to be like a big deal or whatever. So there's a difference between saying don't do it and you shouldn't do it because we know that you're going to do it.
See, I get it's prohibition against commerce. And that's what gets me.
Well, of course it is. Drugs is a prohibition about commerce because you know how much money you can make selling drugs? Like a lot.
I tried.
From what I personally don't, but I may or may not have represented people who make a lot of money from selling drugs. So all of it is a regulation on commerce. But the government regulates commerce like all the fucking time. Everything they regulate is commerce.
Didn't our government originate from laissez-faire?
That's French.
Yeah, but
we don't like the French.
But our style of government is supposed to be laissez-faire style of government.
And
hands off of
a lot of your early presidents practiced the laissez-faire policies when it came to the economy and everything else, but that ship has long sailed just like everything else. They should be, I'll state it again. I'm an absolutist. It says shall not be infringed, period. So I think every gun law in the books is unconstitutional, but, I also live in the real world. I'm not going to walk around and get arrested and challenge that because I got kids at home I got to raise, I got mortgages I got to pay, I got a business I have to protect. So I'm not willing to be the sacrificial guy to make that point. If somebody else is, maybe I'll represent them or whatever. But
we got Luke right here.
I've got no mortgage or kids.
Perfect. You're good to go.
You want the address to the sheriff's office now or just walk in?
Yeah.
FRT.
He's got to talk to Jeff first. What Jeff wants him to do.
Yeah. Well, the minute you get arrested, call me. I'll file the paperwork.
We got to remember the actual writing of the Second Amendment shall not be infringed unless it's really scary.
Right, yeah.
Unless it's really scary. So like a suburban mom, if it's really scary to her, can't have it.
And what about like lately over the summer? Gun laws, are people racking up red flag laws, or are you really busy when it comes to gun law itself?
Yeah, I mean it's the same as it always is. Like the red flag laws are still being used a lot by all the sheriffs. It's very popular amongst the sheriffs to do red flag laws. I don't see the concealed carry denials as much anymore, obviously, because less people are getting concealed carry permits. So I used to get a lot of denials because Nikki Fried would deny them all the time for various reasons. So we did a lot of those. That stopped a little bit when Simpson got in there, and of course it really stopped when they don't have to have permits anymore, because people should still get permits if you can get one, because it helps with reciprocity. It covers you in certain places that you carry that it doesn't cover if you don't have one. But it's all still the same shit. Still background check denials, people coming back. FDLE there's been a lot of weird stuff at FDLE lately as far as like denials going on. I've just seen a rise in denials. I will say this. Remember the whole non-committal thing? You weren't approved or denied. We just put you into this freaking zone for like 2 years or whatever. Those aren't happening as much anymore. I think what they're doing is just flat out denying, and I'm getting a lot more denials than I used to, that we've had to do appeals on and get paperwork, and the denials were wrong names, wrong inputs from other states or whatever. So I've seen a lot of weird technical things lately with FDLE getting more denials than they used to. Those are easy fixes. You just fill out your paperwork and do your appeal, and they usually overturn those. But
so you don't see a difference between the administrations, mood, if you will. Sorry.
No.
It's the same under Biden. It's the same under Trump.
Well, right, because it's all the stuff I deal with are state issues. Background checks are always a state issue. It's bad reporting to the FBI. Concealed carry denials are state issues. Red flag laws are state issues. So it doesn't matter who the president is. With all the stuff that I deal with are Florida laws, and I haven't seen a change in the Florida administration, and none of these laws have changed.
So nothing to do with like the mood of the country.
No, not really.
What about auto sears, like the Glock switches? Have you seen a rise in those? Or
yeah, has anybody come in with
No.
Because Glock is getting sued by everybody.
Are they? Yeah, no.
Yeah, like that. I think the latest person Glock is getting sued by is Seattle.
Have you seen the letter?
No.
People are mad about it. I'm not, but Glock wrote a letter to some law enforcement agency basically saying, we do not agree with the illegal modification of our firearms to turn them full auto. We fully support altering the law to make that,
Legal.
They're basically saying they support any additional gun control measures that can help in preventing their guns from being turned full auto. And people got people gave Glock a lot of flack for it, saying, "Oh, Glock is defending gun control,"
laws, right, yeah.
Which in principle doesn't sound good. But at the end of the day, it's a company going and saying like, "Hey, our guns are legal. People may be turning them illegal, but we don't want anything to do with that. We fully are against our guns being illegally modified to be full auto." But the way that they worded the letter just makes it sound like we're pro gun control. So many people were mad at Glock, but when you really read into it, I feel like they could have chosen better words, but it seems pretty normal.
It's a very active urban myth that the European companies are pro gun control. HK, CZ, Glock.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a thing like it's been known for a long time. Like the European countries are they're not like us.
Yeah,
Shit.
They're not. I mean, like the plate. Like we forget that Beretta, Glock, CZ, SIG, they're all from places where gun control is part of everyday life, and there's a reason for it. Mm-hmm. And so, the biggest one in the urban myth is HK, or just like Benelli.
That's what I was saying too, because I don't think that's really a myth. I feel like that's just how it is. HK.
I'm just trying not to piss off anybody.
Oh, I gotcha. No, I feel like it's pretty well established. HK doesn't really care about your gun rights.
Like Benelli could try to send in, like they won't import police shotguns for civilian usage. Right. And for years, it's widely, the urban myth is that the European countries don't want us to have the same rights. So it would make sense.
Well, and I would imagine, I don't know the figures, but I would imagine, for example, Glock, do they make more money from civilian sales or all their military contracts in all the countries? Because even though, they're anti-gun in all these European countries, but their military obviously carries firearms. So I wonder if Glock makes more money from like their military large company contracts than they do from individual sales, in which case they wouldn't care so much about individual regulation gun laws, because it wouldn't really hurt their bottom line as much as something else. Like SIG cares if their guns go off accidentally because they have all the military contracts and stuff like that, so that becomes a problem. But I'm not sure if Glock cares about individual civilians as much as they do their large contracts.
We don't know because all their shit's private.
Well, right.
It's all private.
I'm just curious, and I don't think they'd ever
You
say
can't
that
even.
or whatever.
They
but
won't even let you know what their.
I can imagine their military contracts are in the billions of dollars or whatever. And so if there's a regulation in California that cuts Glock sales in half, they're not going to give a shit about that because all the cops in California are still probably buying Glocks. All the National Guard in California is still, well, I don't know if the National Guard does, but whichever. I mean, I imagine most of their contracts most of their money come from contracts. But anyway, no, I would imagine that they're not as pro. I mean, look, they just fucking arrested a guy in England like 2 days ago for tweets when he got off the airplane. So like they clearly don't care about. Oh yeah. Some comedian guy made a couple of anti-trans jokes or tweets or whatever, and when he got off the airplane in England, there were 5 cops there, and they arrested him for violation of whatever their social media statute is over there that says you can't badmouth transgenders or whatever. So yeah,
they don't tell you this.
That's crazy.
But the cops over there don't carry guns. You can just walk away.
Yeah.
They're all proficient in jujitsu.
They knew you know your judo well.
Exactly.
You know your judo well. What's he say? Don't touch my penis.
Get your hand off my penis.
That's the best. Well, Jeff, we appreciate you coming down. And before you go, though, tell people why you look so fancy.
Oh, I was just working today. I was at the jail visiting some clients and doing some stuff, so I didn't really have time to go home and change and slum it down for my normal T-shirts and hats. So I had to come in my professional gear today.
So if you're watching, Jeff is a defense attorney. He's also a family law attorney. He's probably a jack of all trades. His specialty is, or his love, his passion is rights, Constitution, gun rights. But if you need, a lawyer, Jeff is the guy to look to. I call him all the time when I need stuff.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, Jeff Young, the Young Law Group, Minnesota Gun Lawyer. Just Google me, whichever.
And how's your YouTube page doing?
Over 10. Well, I hit 10,000 subscribers a while ago. I'm up to like 12,000 or something like that. So
yeah.
I'm starting to get AdSense money. Like they're starting to actually put money in my account from YouTube or whatever. It's not enough to retire on yet, but yeah, I'm up to 11 or 12, and I've got money hitting my account every month for all the ads on my channel. So
yeah, I gotta get that set up.
Yeah.
We have money. It's just sitting there. We haven't figured out how to.
Well, it's a pain. They make it a freaking pain in the ass because I had to do this. I had to verify this. They mail you a letter with a PIN code in it to verify that's your address and that you're not like some spammer or whatever. So you have to give them your home address. YouTube mails you a letter with like the 4-digit code in it. Then you got to log back in and put that 4-digit code in to verify your address. Then you have to verify your bank account. They deposit like 1 cent in your bank account or 9 cents or whatever. You got to go in and see how much was deposited and tell them how much was deposited to make sure it matches what is deposited so they verify your account. It took me like 3 months to jump through all their hoops for them to deposit like the $76 or whatever that was fucking sitting in my first AdSense month or whatever. So it's crazy.
And they don't let you deposit any amount you want. You have to like hit a goal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They hold on to it. Right. They build up your account until it reaches whatever they think is a reasonable amount to make a deposit, and then they'll make a deposit. Yeah. So like you don't get it every time the money rolls in. But I got like $380 something last month or something. I mean, it's not enough to retire on again, but
it's pretty good.
Nice dinner somewhere or something.
That's a brand new gun.
That's a high point rifle.
High point rifle. PX-22.
Yeah.
So we're going to call it. We want to thank Jeff Young, attorney to the stars, for coming into the Shark Coast and
Always.
And talk about interesting things like FRT triggers. Hey, if you get the chance, smash the like button. Go buy Omni energy drinks because they kind of give us free energy drinks. Omer likes them a lot. And check out our other social media pages. We have a real nice Instagram account. We have a good Facebook account, X and Twitter or whatever. It doesn't really matter. And if you are in the area, come by and hang out. We have stickers, T-shirts, dogs. I'd love to conversate with you and find out where you're from and hang out. And we will see you.
Don't get it tax-free.
Remember, fuck yeah, tax-free, baby.
Save that 7%.
For the next 3 months.
Yep, save that 7%. If you hate the government, don't give them your freaking tax money.
Exactly. We will see you.